Hey guys, it's Derekis, and this is Channel Zapped. Today I'm going to be reviewing and discussing Naruto 660, A Concealed Heart. This came out last week, and unfortunately I wasn't able to review it then, but I did want to get to it because I really enjoyed this chapter. This chapter gave us some backstory on the one-tailed beast, the raccoon, Shikaku, or Shakaku, I believe his name is. And it goes into, it's still following up the story from last week where Madara has all of the tail beasts in the chains. He's trying to yank them in to gain their power, and the beasts are trying to fight back. And in this one, Gaara jumps in and he tries to defend the one-tailed beast, his former beast, the one that he was a Jinchuri for. I love this chapter because it gave so much insight into the tail beast. And all of the tail beasts, it's been pretty much known throughout the Naruto series that all of the Jinchuri have this similar trait where they were pretty much treated like crap because they were the host of the tail beast. And even though in their own villages they were supposed to be the protectors, and they were supposed to protect the village and the people didn't really love them, and they kept them aside from everyone else. And we got to see a lot of Gaara's story as when he was younger, the tragedy of growing up with the tail beast, and you see the point and counterpoint between him and Naruto, and their outlooks on life. And so it was really interesting now to get the tail beast perspective on that, and coming in and looking at it and saying, hey, the tail beast, they have a reason for feeling crappy about people in general, because people just want to use their powers. They don't acknowledge them as people or as a being that has a right to life and to choose. And so I enjoyed this because we got to see the insight of Shikaku. And I also enjoyed, I always loved Gaara. Gaara, at first he was, honestly, I'm like, that little boy, when they first introduced Gaara, he was creepy as all hell. And now getting to see him as an adult, as he's changed his ways and as he's become the Kazekage, I really love that dynamic. And it's one of those things where I find his character more interesting than most characters. I like the characters that there's a reason for everything that they do, and if they grow and change, it's believable because life impacts them. And even a lot of the villains, I can understand that. Like Itachi wasn't really a villain, but for the vast majority of the story, you got that. And from a certain perspective, he was a villain, at least to the Uchiha. I'm like, because he slaughtered them, but they were his own people, and he was just trying to make peace. So with Gaara, you got to see the underlying, the seeing that he was a threat. His own village considered him a threat, where they didn't really want him. They didn't like him. They despised him. But yet they were willing to use his power for the defense of the nation. And he was just like, as other people have stated, he was just a tool to be used to protect. So I like getting that insight and building onto the history that was already been laid out before. I think it played in really well. I love seeing Gaara jumping in to try to protect Shikaku. I loved seeing how they showed a panel of Gaara in the other plane, inside his mind, the shared mind with he and Shikaku. It was a flashback, and he was saying, because of you, I was a Jinchuri, and because of you, I was able to meet Naruto and to change, and for that, I'm grateful. And I found that I was like, that's a really positive way to look at it. And looking at now, the one tail is looking at him like, wow, he's really changed. And he compares him to the old guy, the previous Jinchuri. I don't know whether it was the one previous to Gara or the one like some time back. I'm like, it could have been any one at some time. There have been multiple hosts to or Jinchuri, so it doesn't really matter. It's just the fact that the old man Jinchuri from the past had an impact on the One Tail, and that impact was just as strong as the Sage of the Six Paths. And Shikaku, the One Tail, made the comparison. It was like, you really remind me of the Sage of the Six Path. And the old guy was like, thank you. You humbled me. I appreciate that. And seeing that recognition now in Gara, where it's that, I believe it's the kindness of spirit, because it reminds me a lot of when he was fighting Sasuke, at the battle of the the battle of the Kages, the Kages versus Sasuke, and he stopped the Raikage from killing Sasuke, and he was talking to Sasuke and saying, you can change this path. I was there too. I was on the side of the dark. I understand what you're going through, but it doesn't have to be that way. So I enjoy Gara being able to see both sides and being able to relate to people now, because he has a really good perspective on the nature of good and evil, I think, because before he allowed his pain to darken him, to make him pretty much a sociopath, where everyone hated him, mistrusted him, feared him for the most part. Even his brother and sister feared him, and his uncle. And now, when you look at it now, his whole village loves him. They love the change that he made, and they embrace him as their leader. And that's saying a lot. And the One Tail recognizes that. And so I love that relationship where the One Tail told in this scene, in one of the very later scenes, where he tells Gara that you've done enough. Try to step back. And Gara was just like, I'm a big boy. I can. You don't tell me what to do. I'm gonna keep fighting for you. And he's trying to protect him from Madara. So I love that relationship. I love the dynamic there. It looks like Naruto has lost the Nine Tails. This is going to be quite the development, because Naruto has had the Nine Tails in him his whole life. It was the catalyst for the series. So this is going to be interesting to see what issue 661 is going to show, because I'm interested to see Naruto without the Nine Tail. It's been one of the things that I've been wanting for this whole series. I'm honestly hoping that it's taken from, because I want to see, because I like Naruto. I love Naruto. I just think that he's extremely overpowered, but he has enough power now where I think he's pretty equal. I'm like, in terms of, he's a sage and he's really good. I'm like, he's a really good, inspiring character. And he doesn't necessarily have to be overpowered. I don't need him to be, in my opinion, I don't need him to be, on a Madara level or a Hashirama level. But he's a good, inspiring character, and I like that about him. It's one of the reasons why I keep reading him, and why I don't pretty much get too down on him in terms of his fights. His Talk no Jutsu does get old sometimes, I'm not going to lie. But, Madara has, it seems, successfully taken the Nine Tails out of him. So we'll see where that goes. I'm looking forward to seeing where this story goes and progress. And I'm just wondering where everybody else is. I'm like, the rest of the Kages, the rest of the ninja army, I guess they're just like kicking it in the background still. They're waiting for their scenes. They're sitting down reading their script. Like, okay, when this scene cut, we jump in and we go take care of it. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Comment, rate, subscribe down below. Um, give me your feedback. If you like it, what's going on, let me know. All right, and Happy New Year's. Hope everyone was safe. Hope they enjoyed it. Hope they enjoyed their Christmas, and I will see you later. Peace, guys. Keep chilling.